Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts now.
The death toll is climbing after a 7.8 magnitude earthquake hit parts of Syria and Turkey this morning. Good evening, everyone. I'm Evie Allen. Thanks so much for joining us. Over 3,700 people are dead and thousands injured. CNN's Isabel Rosales has the latest, and we do want to warn you, some of the images are graphic.
From under the dust and rubble, a small hand reaches out. Volunteer white helmet rescuers pulling out a Syrian boy from the debris, alive. But their frantic search for life is not enough.
We need help, we need support, immediate support from anyone who can support us.
The catastrophic 7.8 magnitude earthquake collapsing buildings as people slept in bed. The U.S. Geological Survey predicts the death toll could rise by the thousands based on the location of the quake in Turkey and Syria. It's one of the strongest to hit the region since 1939.
We're not ready to deal with something like this. It's bigger than us and bigger than any NGO operating in northwest Syria to handle this disaster.
Survivors unable to go home, taking shelter wherever they can find, even in cars.
If you want to say hello to my kids.
But strong aftershocks complicating the search for those trapped, the biggest of them measuring a powerful 7.5 magnitude. International help is on the way. Several countries are donating money, equipment, and manpower as rescuers dig for any signs of life. I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
Well, Turkey's president declared 7 days of national mourning, stating in a tweet flags will be flown half-staff until sunset on Sunday. Well, President Joe Biden responding to the crisis, saying he's directed a team to monitor the situation and will provide any and all needed assistance. President Biden will deliver his State of the Union address tomorrow evening. Well, emergency officials prepare for a controlled chemical release after a train derailment in Ohio. The train derailed Friday night and an immediate evacuation was ordered yesterday. Multiple small explosions caused a massive fire after at least 10 cars believed to be carrying hazardous materials derailed. The state is participating in the controlled release of toxic chemicals in 5 train cars this afternoon. The Ohio governor says emergency workers knocked on doors within 2-mile radius to make sure no one was in the area.
Those in the red area are facing grave danger of death if they are still in that area. Those living in the orange area are at risk of severe injury including skin burns and serious lung damage.
The controlled release is expected to last between 1 to 3 hours. Well, the U.S. Navy and other agencies are still searching for remnants of the Chinese spy balloon in hopes of determining what data was gathered. Now, Chinese officials call the U.S. response a, quote, unacceptable and irresponsible action. A senior U.S. general says other Chinese surveillance balloons have flown over the U.S. during both the Trump and Obama administrations. One government official says since the balloon weighed a few thousand pounds, it needed to be shot down over water.
3 buses worth of metal will be falling down, potentially on hospitals, potentially on kindergartens. Is that risk worth taking?
Now, the balloon increased tensions between the U.S. and China. Secretary of State Antony Blinken canceled his trip to China just last week, and a U.S. Air Force fighter shot down the balloon Saturday. Thank you, Kesley. Well, a proposed shelter on Business Loop could soon aid the local unhoused population of Columbia. The Voluntary Action Center plans to build the Opportunity Campus. Now that a 26,000 square foot shelter would be constructed on the corner of Business Loop and Bowling Street. Columbia City Council will vote tonight to approve a construction permit for the facility. One Columbia business advocate says this project must be managed correctly to help everyone involved.
Our concern in September when we first heard about this is that a mismanaged shelter is something that can really harm an area of town or a street. So what we asked for from the city and from other people involved was a good sense of a management plan for the area.
Now, the shelter would operate 24 hours a day, year-round, housing up to 120 people with modern amenities. Another big topic at the council meeting is amending the city code to allow for recreational marijuana to be sold in Columbia. The city will consider establishing comprehensive facilities and micro-business facilities in 2 phases. The proposal would allow the conversion of existing medical facilities to the comprehensive facilities type. If the council approves, medical marijuana dispensaries can begin selling recreational marijuana tomorrow. The second phase of the zoning change would require micro-business facilities to have stronger evaluation on their potential impact to the city, specifically by prioritizing lower-income applicants and those affected by previous marijuana laws. Well, traffic will be shut down for 10 minutes on Interstate 70 Wednesday night. Boone County Electric will remove a power line on the highway. Now, crews will shut down the highway around 10 p.m. near Perch Creek Bridge and west on Sorrells Overpass. Now, I-70 traffic will be shut down in both directions. Columbia Fire Department responded to an early morning house fire on the north side of town. At around 1 a.m., crews were able to rescue 3 people and a dog from the home on West Leslie Lane. Columbia Fire Marshals determined the fire started in the attic due to electrical problems. The fire chief credits the working smoke alarms in the rescue effort.
Smoke alarms save lives. This is a perfect example of that occurrence. So we had 2 adults and 1 child who were able to receive early notification of the fire, and it allowed them the time they needed to exit the residence.
The estimated damage cost for the fire is $80,000. Well, the Mexico Public Safety Department responded to 2 house fires over the weekend. No injuries were reported at either fire. Now, fire started on East Jackson Street around 8 p.m. Sunday night and significantly damaged the upstairs portion of the home. Early this morning, fire officials responded to a house fire on North Kentucky Street. Crews found flames coming from the attached garage of that home. Well, still to come, new information on changes to Jefferson City's new transit system and how it might put the brakes on your commute. And details on a new CDC tobacco sales study. The results might surprise you.
And winds are actually starting to die down as we head closer into the evening, still coming in out of the south, bringing us that warmer and more moisture with that air. Now coming up, I'll tell you what that means for the next couple of days.
Plus, you're taking a live look over the Roachport. KMU8 News at 5. Coverage you can count on. Well, bus riders in Jefferson City now have to wait longer. Today, Jeff Tran rolled out a new route system, condensing its routes from 6 to 3, doubling the wait time. KMU8's Kobe Zach was at the station to see riders' reaction.
Jeff Tran is vital transportation for many in Jefferson City.
A lot of us that have appointments, things like that, we're missing them because now the route is longer. I think it's like 80 minutes instead of 40.
The new routes doubled the previous wait time, and that forced riders to adjust their schedules.
I take it to go to the grocery store. I take it like I had a doctor's appointment today. To make sure I got there on time, I had to come an extra hour early.
This comes after Jefferson City Council voted in January to raise bus fares by 50%. That means a $1 bus ride now costs $1.50.
People are like, okay, we're paying more, so why are we not getting the service that we require?
One Jeff Tran employee says that the driver shortage is to blame.
Everybody's fighting that problem. Not enough staff. How you give service if you ain't got staff?
He says that the long hours for drivers could be a main factor in the shortage.
We start at 6:30 in the morning, we don't get done to 5:30, so you got a long period there with 6 buses running, and then with the routes that we're running, it's just kind of hard to keep that staff.
But he says that he's still optimistic because he's seen it before.
Been here going on 16 years, and this is not the first time this has happened, so it's just a matter of adjusting.
In Jefferson City, Colby Zach, KMU8 News.
Well, the Jeff Tran will provide a more detailed presentation on the route adjustments at Thursday's Planning Committee meeting. Well, next, a new study reveals a possible path to reduce your risk of long COVID-19.
And rain could start as early as this evening. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, I'll tell you how long you can expect this rain to last and when you might see some more chance for rain.
Here's what's happening right now. The American military says it had a, quote, awareness gap that allowed 3 other suspected Chinese spy balloons to pass through the U.S. during the Trump administration. The Trump administration says they were not aware of any balloons traveling across the U.S. while he was in office. Well, in the coming days, the FBI plans to search former Vice President Mike Pence's Indiana home for classified documents. Now, the search comes after Pence's legal team found a small number of documents at the house. Pence asked a third-party team to search for any documents after President Biden reported finding documents at his Delaware home. Both of these searches follow the DOJ's investigation of classified documents found at former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. Thank you, Kesley. Well, a new study shows how women can reduce their risk of long COVID. Researchers looked at 6 healthy lifestyle factors, and that's smoking, diet, alcohol consumption, sleep, exercise, and body mass index. Between 2020 and 2021, they looked at the study with white women who tested positive for COVID-19. Now, the study findings are limited due to the demographic sample. Well, a study by the CDC shows the majority of Americans support a tobacco sales ban. The survey found about 62% of adults supported a policy prohibiting the sale of menthol cigarettes, and around 57% supported a policy prohibiting the sale of all tobacco products. In April of 2021, the FDA announced plans to ban menthol cigarettes and all flavored cigarettes. Well, the FAA plans to fine United Airlines $1 million for not performing pre-flight safety checks. The FAA says the airline got rid of a required fire system warning check. Planes flying from June 2018 to April of 2021 were not checked. Now, the company has 30 days to respond to the FAA. Well, all gas and no brakes. New car prices continue to climb. Find out why next.
Right now, the race to produce counter technology to spot artificial intelligence-aided cheating in the classroom. Plus, Ticketmaster under the spotlight as pre-sales begin for Beyoncé's tour ahead on Nightly News.
Well, if you need a new ride, you might want to check the used car lots again. After months of rising prices, used car prices are now quickly falling while new car prices are on the rise. Supply chain issues created a huge backup in new car sales and triggered the price spike. Well, another tech company announced major layoffs. Dell Computers says it's letting go about 5% of its workforce. That's more than 6,000 people. Oh boy, the company blamed the layoffs on, quote, challenging global economic environment. Dell is the most recent tech giant to have significant job cuts following Amazon, Microsoft, and Facebook parent company Meta. Well, feeling lucky, another chance to win big money comes tonight. The Powerball jackpot is up to an estimated $747 million. That's the 9th largest Powerball jackpot, and the draw will come later tonight. The last big lottery won $1.35 billion in Mega Millions. Ooh, I need that. Well, we'll have one more check of your forecast after the break. Here's a recap of our top story. Jefferson City rolled out its new transit system today, condensing its routes from 6 to 3, which has doubled wait times for some commuters. Now, this comes after Jefferson City Council voted in January to raise bus fare by 50%. Jeff Tran will provide more details on the route adjustments at the February committee meeting. Now here's a look at what we're following for KMU8 News at 6. MoDOT is struggling to find enough workers to take care of the state highways. Find out how this will impact travel conditions in the future tonight at 6.
Temperatures starting tomorrow a little bit on that chillier side. Temperatures back starting in the upper 30s, but we do get temperatures back into the upper 40s by the afternoon hours. Seeing a little bit of cloud cover still, but mostly dry. Any rain tomorrow should stay well south of mid-Missouri, closer to I-44. Now, it's not going to be the case for Wednesday. We do see a little bit of an increased chance for some rain chances, especially Wednesday afternoon and evening. But good news, we do start to dry out as we head towards the weekend.
Very happy about that. It was so nice today.
It really was. A little too windy for me, but
that's true. That's true. We'll see you back here at 6.